It's been a week after the hotel was rebuilt. Everyone celebrated. They were happy. Things were finally at peace. And even though the V's were out there making their plans, for now they can relax. For now, everything seemed good. As one night, as Charlie and Vaggie and Angel were all having a conversation, they were talking about how to bond. Talking about how to, have fun. Because they all wanted a group activity, but they couldn't agree on anything. Angel would suggest that they go to the club and enjoy each other. As Vaggie would say, "That's disgusting, Angel." Angel would say, "Hey, don't knock it till you try it, prune." As then Vaggie and Angel would argue, Charlie would say, "Do you have an idea, Alastor?" Alastor would say, "Why not go urban exploring?" There was this overlord from the 1950s who, whatever he drew in ink would become real. Of course, he did have a lot of power limitations, but he made a whole army of ink soldiers and ruled a part of hell. But eventually, his ink beings rebelled and killed him. And now, his place is full with strange ink monsters. As then everyone would laugh, and Angel would say, "That's so fake. I think I would have heard of strange ink creatures." Alastor would say, "Oh, it used to be famous." But the Hell's government covered it up. The nobles and royals didn't want people to think that their power was limited, that there were things stronger than them, so they made the place look abandoned. As then Charlie would say, "Interesting story. Do we really want to go to a creepy place?" Angel would say, "Heck yeah." Vaggie would say, "I thought you thought it was dumb." "I did. I just like watching you be scared." As Alastor would say, "Excellent. All of you get out now. Let me get some stuff packed." Alastor would then disappear as he appeared in front of Bendy. As Bendy would say, "Is the plan set?" Alastor would say, "Yes, it's set." As then he would sigh, "Good. Once this is over, you can have your pathetic soul back. I have something more planned for this." As Alastor would say, "You've been here for 40 years, you know. Just waiting, sitting here. What have you been waiting for?" "I've been waiting to become royalty, to become strong enough to take over hell and reform it into my own design, making me into a true god. As there are two beings in this universe that can stop me, but soon, they'll even crumble at my feet." As Alastor would nod, he would then go and get the supplies. As he met up with Charlie and the rest, they would go to visit this abandoned place. As they did, they all felt uneasy. They all felt like they shouldn't be here, but they didn't know why. As they felt like something deep inside their soul was watching them, was looking at them. As they all shook deep to the core, they would slowly walk into the building. As the building looked like an old factory, a factory of animation, but everything there seemed so old-timey. Angel would say, "So, no wonder you like this place, Al. It's as old as you are." Alastor would say, "Ha ha ha, very funny, Angel." As then, they would continue to explore. As they all would explore different crevices, Alastor would say, "We should split up." Vaggie would say, "Are you an idiot?" Every horror movie, they split up, and they all die. That's literally the dumbest decision you can possibly make. We are not going to split up. That is just downright stupid. As Charlie would say, "Yeah, I don't get a good feeling from this place. In fact, we should leave," Charlie would say. Vaggie would say, "Yeah, I know there's no ghost or whatever the heck, but I know you have something terrifying planned here, Alastor. I won't be a part of it." As then Angel would say, "Oh, what's the matter? Are you scared?" As Alastor would say, "Let's put it to a vote." As Alastor would vote they stay, Angel would also vote they'd stay. So would Nifty. Then Charlie and Vaggie would vote to leave. As Husk would say, "It'll be a tie if I vote to leave. Besides, I have my whiskey, so I'm fine." Husk would then take his drink. As then they would sigh and say, "Okay, I guess we're splitting up." As then Angel and Alastor would leave. As Nifty and Husk would leave together, and Vaggie and Charlie would leave together. As they all walked separate paths. As Vaggie and Charlie walked together, everything around them seemed so dark. Everything around them seemed so menacing. As they walked down a dark, dark hallway. As Nifty and Husk would do the same. But Alastor and Angel went somewhere different. Alastor would start to walk up these stairs and open a door to a room. As Angel would say, "What is this?" Alastor would say, "I'm sorry." As then, he would push him into a pool of ink. As then Angel would grab the sides and barely be able to pull out. As the ink would grab onto his legs, it would slowly start to expand over him. As Angel would say, what is this? As Alastor would say, I'm sorry. As suddenly ink would start to appear all over his body. As Bendy would walk up to him. Are you ready to join me? To join my family? To join the new version of hell? As ink appeared all over Angel, suddenly he would see something. He would see Valentino walking towards him, about to hit him, about to strike him. As Angel would shake, he would fall to the floor, as he was in his own head, when suddenly Bendy would save him. He would grab Valentino's arm and throw him away and say, all of your fears can be gone. You can be happy if you side with me. As suddenly Angel would start to feel good. He would start to feel the warm ink pass through his body. As the ink passed through, it felt so warm, so calm, so peaceful, so understanding. The world's been so cruel to him. Here he could be a family. Here he could be loved. He would try to push these thoughts out, but Bendy would keep saying, give in. Let me take care of you. Let me be there for you. As Angel would look up, Bendy kept trying over and over. Eventually Angel would give up. As ink would cover his body, as now he was Angel Ink. As Alastor would say, I did your dirty work. Good. Now, continue to sabotage the rest. Me and Angel need to do something. As in Bendy and Angel would walk off, we then cut to Nifty and Husk. Husk and Nifty walked deeper in. They found a strange place, looked like a bar. Husk would say, why did this guy have a bar? Nifty would say, I don't know, overlords are weird, hee hee hee. As then she would look over at stuff and start to clean things. Clean, clean, clean. As Husk would take the drinks and begin to drink a bit. As he started to enjoy it, the drinks here were still fresh. It was weird. So cold, but they shouldn't be like that. As then he would hear a noise. A loud thump as it got closer and closer and closer. As Nifty yelled, yay, danger! Husk would say, what the F are you? Oh my God. A strange ink creature would start to walk towards them. Husk would say, this is real? I thought Alastor was just effing with us. He gave the F face. Wait, he bluffed me. As then he would take a big sip of his drink as he would put his finger up for the monster to wait. As the monster looked confused, it would simply wait. As then Husk finished his drink, he would grab Nifty's hand. And Nifty said, oh, can we keep it? As then the monster would scream, as Husk would say, no. As then they would start to run away, as the monster would follow them and make terrifying noises. As hot ink was shot at them, Husk would grab onto Nifty and begin to fly. As he flew through a roof and tried to fly out, he got closer and closer and closer. Ceiling after ceiling after ceiling, until eventually he made it out. But then he would hit a force field, causing him to fall all the way back. As he would hit the ground with a large thud. Luckily, Husk was able to use his wings to cushion the blow, but they were broken. He would stand up in a daze, hurt. As then he would hear the monster come, as he would have to hide under a table. As the monster would look around, not be able to see very well, trying to rely on hearing. As the monster would look for Husk, Husk would shake, as he knew it was over. He knew that he couldn't do this for long. He would then sigh, as he looked down sad. As tears began to drop from his eyes, as he felt like his life was going to end, when suddenly Alastor would sneak up behind him. As Alastor would then look at Husk, Alastor and Husk had an interesting relationship. Alastor owned Husk's soul, and Husk knew this, and Alastor could get rid of it any time, but he didn't, even though he threatened it many times, and Husk wasn't super useful to him, so it's like Alastor cared about Husk somewhat, but he also didn't. It was complicated. As Alastor would then sigh, as then he would put his hand on the table and say, over here! As then the ink monster would grab Husk and drag him away. As he was dragged away, he would see Bendy, as Bendy would say, hello, kitten, are you ready to become ink? As Husk would say, you're effing crazy, as then Bendy would grab him and start to cover him with ink. He would try to resist, as he would squirm and try to push back, fight back. As Bendy would simply say, it's over, Husk. I could simply take over your mind, make you a mindless creature, but I want you to be conscious. I want you to live with me. I want to rule hell in a new way, the ink way. My creator made me to be a servant, so I got rid of him. And I became powerful, just like you can become powerful. As he would see visions of Alastor abusing him, as suddenly Alastor would be destroyed. I'm just using him, Husk. Once he's gone, we can be together. We can be friends. We can be happy. As Husk would say, you're just using me too.
No, I'm not. I care about you. I care about all my ink creations. As Husk would start to scream and fight back, eventually he would give up and become Ink. As Ink, Angel would go over and kiss him.
As Angel and Husk kissed, they shared passion, they shared love, as even though they were ink, even though they were corrupted, they still had themselves. Bendy wanted to rule hell, he wanted to make it peaceful, turn it into a paradise, but to do that, he must keep them the way they are. As then Angel and Husk would help Bendy, as then we cut to Nifty. Nifty was hiding in the ratway tunnels. As she crawled around, cleaning and stabbing anything she saw. Stab, stab, clean, clean, she said over and over and over. Until she heard something. She heard a rush of liquid. She didn't know where it was coming from. It sounded like water. She looked around, but nothing was there. It was so odd, so strange, but she continued to move forward, moving through these tight tunnel spaces, moving through like a rat. As Nifty continued to move through every inch, eventually she would get out into a room. As then, waves of ink came at her. As then she would run. "Yay, I'm in danger!" she would yell, as the waves flew with almost the speed of lightning. Nifty kept on running. Nifty kept trying to get away. The waves got closer and closer and closer. As she started to enjoy it, she would run away on all fours, barely making it away. As then she jumped through a tiny crack. As she began to crawl through, she would then hear a voice, as it was Bendy. "So, you like to crawl, huh?" As a little ink rat would go towards Nifty, Nifty would grab it and eat it. As this shocked Bendy, as Bendy said, What did you do?" "I had to get rid of the rodents. I gotta clean somehow," as then she would burp. As somehow the ink didn't affect her from the inside. Bendy was shocked, as then he would cover Nifty up with ink, but it would do nothing. As Nifty was immune. He's never had this happen before. Bendy was absolutely horrified. He wanted to fix her, make her better, make her ink like him. As Bendy started to yell as he destroyed the wall, "No, no, no! You're supposed to be perfect! You're supposed to be better!" As Nifty would laugh and say, "You're bad, I like that, hee hee hee. Besides, I was just playing with you." As then she turned to her ink form. "I turned inked as soon as I ate the rat. I thought I would just play a fun prank on you." As Bendy would say, "You have enough." He never encountered someone with enough willpower to prank him as soon as they turned to ink. He was intrigued by this. As Bendy would say, "Just follow my orders," Nifty would nod, as then we cut to Charlie and Vaggie. Charlie and Vaggie continued on walking. As they walked through the entire place without a problem. As then they went to the door would turn into pure ink. As Charlie would use her demonic form to try to get rid of it, she would say, "Wait, where is everyone?" Vaggie would say, "I don't know. They didn't make it here. This is just some prank done by Alastor, right?" Vaggie would say. Charlie would say, I'm unsure." As then Alastor would appear and say, "Gotcha! We're waiting outside." As then Vaggie started to walk out, Alastor would whisper in Charlie's ear. As Alastor would say, "Do you remember that favor you owe me?" As Charlie would look confused, she'd, "Yeah." Alastor would then give her a pill. "Take it. It won't hurt anyone. It won't hurt you. Just take it right when the time is right. Right before you enter." As Charlie would say, "Enter what?" "Trust me. It's not a door. It's not a room. But trust me." As Alastor would walk out, Charlie was confused as Vaggie would meet with the others as they looked normal. As in this timeline, Alastor used his magic to hide them. As since they have magic, they're able to hide their ink form. As Vaggie would say, "Alright, let's go." As Husk would say, "Wait, Vaggie, I need to tell you something." As Vaggie would go to Husk, suddenly Husk would vomit ink into Vaggie's mouth, changing her. As then her eyes would turn black, as they would all turn into ink versions of themselves. Charlie would shake as she would go into her demonic form and punch Angel, only for him to break into multiple pieces. And then they would re-emerge together, and Angel would say, "You really, Charlie, you're gonna hurt me? We just want to make you happy by making you join the ink." Charlie then pulled out a weapon and began to fight them. As she went into her demonic form, she was scared, but whatever these people or things were, they weren't her friends. As Charlie kept on fighting, she would start to cry. Turn back, she would say as she looked at Vaggie. Vaggie would say, "Honey, just join us. We want you to be happy. Bendy has something special for you. We can be together, you know." As Charlie kept on fighting, she kept on destroying them again and again as they simply came back. As Charlie would use her magic, Charlie would fly, Charlie would do anything, but she couldn't do it. She couldn't run, she couldn't escape.
She couldn't destroy them. She would simply fall to her knees and cry, as Vaggie would grab her shoulder and say, "It's okay," as then they would take Vaggie inside, as Charlie would meet Bendy, as Bendy sat in a pool of ink. Bendy would say, "Come here, Charlie. It's a long time coming." As Charlie was dragged to Bendy, she would look up at him, as Bendy looked down on her. "You're different, Charlie. You have a kind soul. You want to change things. You want to make things better. And your hotel did very well. But the hotel is simply chump change. I want to offer you something more. I want to change hell for the better. Fuse with me. Become one with me. We'll become the ultimate being." As then Bendy would slowly grab onto Charlie. As then Charlie would start to get sucked in by him. But then Charlie remembered what Alastor said. "Take the pill right when you go in." This must be what Alastor meant. Bendy said, "Don't worry, Charlie. We'll make peace together." As then Charlie would take the pill. As suddenly, a bright light would appear inside of Bendy, as the ink would begin to melt. As the ink evaporated into steam. Suddenly, Angel would fall to the floor as the ink would come off of him. Then Husk, then Nifty, then Vaggie. As they all stood up, they would look at Bendy. Bendy turned into nothing but steam, but then the ink from the water would then rise up, making Bendy again, making him into a hideous monster. As Alastor would say, "Go, go," as they'd all start to run, this monster would chase them. As Bendy would say, "I'm gonna destroy you all." As Bendy run at them, they would all run away. As they left the house, Bendy would destroy the walls and begin to continue his chase. As Bendy chased them outside, Bendy wanted to take over hell, turn it into a paradise. Because of Alastor, his home was destroyed. Now he has to completely destroy everything and rebuild it from the ground up. As Bendy would start to absorb everything he touched, turn it into a giant blob, a giant liquid absorbing part of the town. As Charlie would say, "What do we do?" And Charlie began to shake as she looked up at Bendy. Bendy was no longer this calculating creature. Bendy was calculated. Bendy was smart. Bendy tried to trick them all. But now since Bendy didn't get its way, now since Bendy didn't get what it wanted, it was now like a beast. Wanted to destroy everything around it, acting out, throwing a tantrum almost like a 3-year-old. As Angel would say, "I can't believe I thought you cared about me." Bendy would say, "I do care about you, but you betrayed me. Alastor, you ruined their futures. They were supposed to live happily, to be important, to be special. But thanks to you, they'll live their pathetic lives. I'll just have to absorb them into me and fix their lives later." As Bendy was going there, suddenly he would hear footsteps. As he turned around, he was terrified. One of the only two people who can defeat him, Lucifer himself. So we'll look at this thing and say, "Damn, this thing is ugly." As then Ink would say, "I am the perfect life form." Lucifer would say, "That sounds familiar to someone. Wasn't his name?" As suddenly Ink would punch Lucifer. As this did nothing, Ink would try to absorb him, but Lucifer would use magic, making it so he couldn't absorb him. As then he simply walked inside of him and began to heat himself up, turning all of his ink into steam. As then ink began to fall everywhere and turn to steam, Bendy would start to scream in pain, scream in agony, and yell, "Why? Why? Why?" As then he would fall to the floor. He was barely himself. Only his arm and his head remained as he talked. "It's not fair. I wanted so much. It was so close. Why? How could this happen to me?" he would say as he screamed. As Lucifer would say, "Shut up," as he evaporated the rest of him. Bendy gone, Lucifer would go to Charlie and say, "Are you okay?" Charlie would say, "Yeah, Dad." As then they would both hug. As then Lucifer would say, "How did you get into this mess? It's a long story." "Wait, where's Alastor?" We cut to Alastor. Alastor was now free. Without Bendy, his soul was not owned. As then he would sigh. He had explored that place a long time ago in the search for power, and searched to find someone like him. And it backfired horribly. Now, all he wants to do is be alone. He could finally do it. He could finally be whoever he wanted. Do whatever he wanted. He was finally free. No one could tell him what to do. It was liberating. As Bendy died, Alastor's freedom began. And now, he truly was pulling all the strings. Thank you so much to everyone, and I mean everyone who suggested this idea. This idea has been suggested quite a bit. I hope I made you proud, and I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share with all your friends.
I had a great time making this video. Hope you had a great time watching it. Let me know what ideas you want in the future. And did you like the thumbnail? Because I've been trying this AI stuff, which sadly makes better thumbnails than me, I feel like. If you like the thumbnail, let me know. How I makes the characters of the AI, then I use the background from the show and edit that in. So it's part AI, part me. So if you guys liked it, let me know. Peace out.